So your Chiefs, they locked up Nick Bolton and Hollywood Brown over free agency. One of their top targets, though, Ronnie Staley, he didn't make it to the open market. So they got Jalen Moore.
Yes.
How worried about you? How worried are you about your O-line and the moves
I'm
that
not.
the Chiefs have been making?
Listen, I don't. The Jalen Moore signing is a heavy price for a guy who's never been a starter. But he's young. When he has played, he's played well. And why hasn't he been a starter? Well, because the guy in front of him at left tackle is the best left tackle in the league in the last decade, and Trent Williams. So if there's anybody who's backup you want to take a chance on, it's the guy who's backing up the best player at his position in the league. I've been saying this. I will say it again. The kid they drafted in the second round last year, Kingsley Suamataia, they're going to give him a shot to play left guard. They drafted him as a tackle. They're going to try him at guard. Creed is the best center in the league. Trey Smith is a really good guard, even if he had kind of an up and down season. And Jawan Taylor's fine. So I am fine with what they did. Ronnie Stanley had way higher upside, but also has the injury risk and was going to cost more money. Now, it would have been good to weaken Baltimore. The Chiefs did that once with Orlando Brown, who they got from Baltimore, and then he ended up going to Cincinnati when he left the Chiefs. Also, obviously, it was quite the whirlwind this weekend for Xavier Worthy, where Xavier Worthy gets arrested, and the allegations are awful. And I do think this is noteworthy. So he got arrested and was accused of domestic violence. And he then was released, and they decided not to charge him, not because the accuser recanted, because I think some people see that sometimes and they're like, was there some money involved here, or whatever it was. Instead, according to the police and the district attorney, based on multiple witness statements, the district attorney there said, this is not a chargeable case. And so that is noteworthy to me as far as, do you believe this guy actually didn't do it, or that this guy just is going to get away with something he did? But because that would have been, for just not to be crass about this, but just from a football standpoint, it'd have been pretty disastrous because Rashee Rice is potentially going to be suspended to start the year. If Xavier Worthy has, a domestic violence arrest or conviction or whatever, you then have to worry about him not being on the team at all moving forward. And all of a sudden the wide receiver room's decimated again. And again, I feel a little awkward even just talking about the football piece of it on something that's serious, but you do have to kind of bifurcate your brain and think about certain things than the other pieces of it. But that's now, it would appear, a one-day thing and gone. They brought back Hollywood Brown, and I like the idea of Hollywood Brown like I liked the idea of it last year. And I think they kept Nick Bolton.
Is there anything else that you would like to see them do?
Well, there's two defensive starters on the Chiefs that are free agents and haven't signed elsewhere yet. So Justin Reed, the safety, and Charles Omenihu, the defensive end. I am holding out hope that they are able to bring at least one of those guys back. That maybe the market those guys thought they were going to have doesn't quite materialize, and that they're able to bring one of those guys back. But the Chiefs clearly think by their moves, they were good enough last year. And I think they were. They played their worst game at the worst time, but they aren't treating this like they need a major overhaul. And I actually think that's smart. This episode of What's Right is brought to you by Daya Pizza, featuring dairy-free cheese made with their new Daya Oat Cream Blend. Dairy-free cheese has come a long way. Daya's leading the charge. Their pizzas offer the melt and stretch of traditional cheese without any dairy. Each Daya pizza starts with a perfectly crisp crust, layered with savory, satisfying toppings, and finished with cheese that melts and stretches beautifully. The Daya oat cream blend delivers a creamy, cheesy texture that's indistinguishable from dairy-based options. Every pizza is crafted to be dairy-free, making it a great choice for anyone seeking more inclusive meal options without compromising on taste. Daya takes the concept of dairy-free to a new level, eliminating faux moo. That is not the fear of cows. That is the fear of missing dairy. These pizzas deliver delicious taste and texture, making them perfect for any occasion, from casual dinners to game day spreads. Enjoy a faux moo free pizza night with Daya. Visit DayaFoods.com for more information or find Daya Pizza at retailers like Whole Foods, Kroger, and Walmart. Coming soon to select Publix and Sprouts. Follow Daya on Instagram and TikTok for more updates and recipes.
San Francisco has been tearing it down. They've been spinning big on that roster. They've been right around the corner. But so they traded Debo and could trade Aiyuk after just extending him last year. Do you think that they officially missed their window?
I do. Doesn't mean it'll never open again. But I do think that the Niners, as we know them, as this team with these all pros on both sides of the ball, all over the place, that's done now. And a sneaky big loss, in my opinion, was Talanoa Hufanga, who, again, I understand the last couple of years, injuries have kind of stolen them from him, but he was unbelievable. An unbelievable mid-round pick for them, who played at an all-pro level instantly. But so they lost Aaron Banks, one of their most reliable linemen, probably their most reliable lineman other than Trent Williams. Malik Collins, they cut for cap reasons. Dre Greenlaw, who sadly popped his Achilles in the Super Bowl, and, he went to Denver. Javon Hargrave, who they had to move on for cap purposes. Hufanga, who went to Denver. Kyle Juszczyk, who was really valuable to them as a kind of do-it-all fullback. Jalen Moore, their backup tackle. And that is an important spot with Trent Williams at his age, playing left tackle to Kansas City. Elijah Mitchell, one of their kind of depth running backs, is not a huge one to Kansas City. They traded Deebo Samuel and Javarius Ward, former great Chief, and a really good corner who suffered a real personal tragedy with the loss of a child this year, and said basically like he and his family needed to move from California and get a fresh start because of how much pain that was. And you feel just absolutely sick for him. He signed with the Colts. So it's just very, very, very different team. And if you're doing all this just so you can pay Brock Purdy, that's not the business I would get in.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I mean, that probably means through all this, Purdy's getting paid. He's definitely getting paid.
I guess they feel like they have to, but I would be very careful with how much money I offer Brock Purdy. Everybody knows how I feel about that, so we don't have to get too deep into it.
And all that, Hufanga, Hufanga and Greenlaw, they're both on the Broncos now.
Yeah,
they're going to be seeing Mahomes twice a year.
Listen, Denver's defense is really good. Denver's defense is really good. And so they'll be an interesting team. I said yesterday that I thought the Raiders with Geno could jump Denver in the division. And I thought Denver could finish last. But the AFC West, man, it's tough. The AFC West is legitimately really, really tough.